Hi everyone, I'm Chung Wen for Gotta Be Mobile, and in this video review, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active. The Samsung Galaxy S4 Active is sitting here to my left, submerged in a bowl of water. It's AT&T's flagship waterproof smartphone aimed at consumers for summer of 2013. We're going to go ahead and take a look at how the Galaxy S4 Active performs, and we're going to go ahead and compare it to how it stacks up against the regular non-active version of the Samsung Galaxy S4 flagship, which is one of the most coveted and powerful devices that's released in 2013. Let's go ahead and take a look at both devices. We're going to go ahead and remove the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active from the water. Go ahead and quickly wipe it down with my microfiber cloth here and run down some of the specs. As you can see here, both devices have a 5-inch Full HD 1080p touchscreen display, so you do have one of the best displays on the market on both devices. The main difference is the Galaxy S4 uses an HD Super AMOLED display, which leads to, I think, colors are a little bit more bright, vibrant, and crisp than the regular LCD panel on the Galaxy S4 Active here on the left-hand side. Additionally, viewing angles on the HD Super AMOLED display I think is a little bit more wide, but not by much. It's marginally more wide, and although I prefer the HD Super AMOLED panel here, the regular LCD panel is still pretty good and is nothing to scoff at on the active version. At the top, like its flagship cousin, you do have the earpiece speaker here on the top, along with a 2 megapixel front-facing camera, ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, as well as new for 2013, an infrared sensor, which helps to activate some of the motion and gesture controls that Samsung has built in to the TouchWiz software of the Samsung Galaxy S4 and the S4 Active. So here you can go ahead and enable some of it, so you can go ahead and swipe your hand over the sensor to scroll through web pages or use your palm to activate certain features. On the bottom of the display, which is different from the regular Galaxy S4, is that the active version has 3 physical Android navigation keys, versus on the S4 you have the single home button flanked on each side by a capacitive touchscreen button. Here with the 3 physical buttons, it's important because if you're using this device with water or near water, or even around if it's wet with water, the screen is virtually impossible to use, so you do need physical buttons to navigate around Android unless you wipe down the screen each time. The review version that we have here is in teal blue. As you can see, it has a more industrial look compared to the consumer look of the Samsung Galaxy S4 here on the bottom. You can see the design with the exposed bolts make it seem a little bit more rugged, but it should be noted that the Galaxy S4 Active is not a rugged device. Although it is waterproof, you don't want to be dropping this on hard pavement or concrete. The device does have an 8 megapixel rear camera and LED flash, and also it does have a removable back battery cover. You can see that the battery is the same size as the Galaxy S4, so you can swap batteries between the two devices if you have a Galaxy S4 already, and it does have slots for a micro SD card as well as a micro SIM card, so you do have access to that as well. As far as the battery cover, it's the same polycarbonate plastic used on the Galaxy S4. However, on this device, you can see there's an inner gasket ring here. So it's a rubber gasket, and that helps to keep water out. Samsung and AT&T actually recommends that you go around the phone. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this down because it's a little bit wet now. But that you go around the edges of the phone to make sure that the rear battery cover actually does snap in place. And you can hear audible snappings. And AT&T actually recommends that you go here in the middle and press down around the AT&T globe to make sure that the center portion of the phone is sealed as well. As far as button placements, they're largely the same or very similar to how the buttons are placed on the Galaxy S4. You have the volume rocker on the left-hand spine of the phone. 3.5 millimeter headphone port. On the Active, it's actually an exposed port, but it is watertight and water sealed. So even if water gets in, it's not going to affect the performance of the device. Also on the top, you have an infrared blaster, and this helps the device to control your home entertainment system, such as your TV, so you can turn on and off and change the channel of your television using your smartphone. On the right-hand spine, you have the power button, and then on the bottom, you have the micro USB charge and sync port. What's different is that on the Active now, you have a rubber flap that covers the port, and this helps to keep water out, and you can just remove it and replace it. And then you do have to do this every time you charge your phone, which can get annoying if you charge your phone a lot. And also, as there's no rear cover with wireless charging, I do have the wireless charging back here on the Galaxy S4. Since there's no wireless charging cover, what that means is you'll always have to use the micro USB cover to charge and sync your phone. As far as thickness and weight, the Galaxy S4 Active is a little bit heavier than the standard Galaxy S4 without the wireless charging back. The wireless charging back does add a little bit of thickness to the phone, but not by that much. So this is a little bit thicker than a normal Galaxy S4. The device is, the Galaxy S4 Active is a little bit taller, a little bit wider, and a little bit thicker than a standard Galaxy S4, but not by that much, as you can see here when I'm holding the phone and stacking them up. The benefit here is that you do have the same high-end specs as the Galaxy S4 in a water-sealed model, which is great even for regular consumers who don't run, jog, go camping, take whitewater rafting trips. Just the average consumer can benefit from the waterproof features in case you drop your phone in the bathtub or the sink or even at the pool. You're not going to have to worry about your phone not working because of water damage. Both devices are powered by the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 processor. That's a quad-core processor. It's one of the most powerful processors, and you can see that performance is actually very similar between the devices, and they're both fast and fluid. I have a bunch of apps loaded, and there's no lag here. It does have 2 gigs of RAM, like the flagship, so under the hood, you're getting pretty much the same performance as the flagship. You're also getting Samsung's excellent simultasking application called multi-window. So if you have that enabled, let's open the multi-window view, you can actually run 2 programs at the same time, and it's called simultasking. So here I'm running the album application and here the email, none of which are set up, but you can run both applications at the same time. In the next portion of the video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the performance of both devices, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the camera experience in greater depth. So join us in our next video segment for the Galaxy S4 Active review.